So the question we face then is, how are we going to do this allocation? Yeah, how are resources to be shared out? And fundamentally there are two basic approaches that you can use. One is the one that's been used down the years by communist regimes like the USSR, kind of to an extent like Maoist China and so on, where basically the government decides. Those economies are called command economies. And the point about command economies is basically you do what you're told. So the government decides. Here are some people. And here is some land. The government is going to decide who's going to work where, what it's going to be used for, and so on. We simply issue orders. The advantages of a system a bit like that one, are that the government, in principle, can make good choices. In theory, it can choose what it thinks is best for society. It can make sure there's full employment. So therefore, some people have said, well, that makes sense. We can avoid the problems that come with unrestricted market forces. The problems tend to be that nobody has an incentive to do anything. So there's no incentive to make a profit. There's no particular incentive to work hard because often you're not paid according to your effort levels and so on. So these systems aren't always as efficient as they might be. The alternative is simply to leave it to the free market. So we simply leave it to the forces of supply and demand fundamentally. There's a guy called Adam Smith, and he said that he thought that actually market-based systems were magic. He said it was a bit like there was an invisible hand, guiding the decisions, the separate production and consumption decisions of lots of people. He said, look, imagine on the one hand, we have lots of businesses. On the other hand, we have over here, we got lots of households with people and so on. And all these people want lots of different things. So as we said, we got all their wants. So that's his wants. So some of them want apples and some of them want bananas and so on. And over here we've got businesses. They're making things. So the question is, well, what is it that our businesses should make? In a marketplace, then what's going to tend to happen is that suppose that there is an increase in the demand for apples. We all decide that, hey, apples are great. We want to keep doctors away, we want to be healthy, we like vitamin C and so on. In a market, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a shortage. Everybody wants apples, but there's only a certain number around. Well, who's going to get them? Well, in theory, what's going to happen is that the people who are prepared to pay the most are going to get them. Now, in theory, that's a good thing, because we allocate apples to those who want them the most, in theory. So if incomes are evenly distributed, the people who most want the apples will be the ones that pay the most. But what's going to happen in any case is that the increase in the demand for apples, consumers are competing, what's going to happen is that prices are going to rise. As a result of which, businesses are going to realise, hey, they're going to think, I can make more profit. So what's going to happen? We don't grow apples in factories, but what's going to happen is that farmers are going to plant more trees, and in the long term, what's going to happen is that in response to this rising demand, which creates potential for more profit, more apples in the long term are going to be supplied. So in other words, what happens is that resources are allocated according to what we want. So we are the resource kings, and queens. If we want more of something, then its price is going to rise. Because its price rises, firms can make more profits. Because they make more profits, because more profits can be made, they're willing to supply more. So this type of system, in theory, has been viewed as being a relatively good thing, in the sense that we get what we want. Businesses compete to provide it for us, so therefore, businesses have incentives. They want to try and become efficient. And if they're efficient, that means that they'll use those scarce resources quite well, because they want to use them. They want to use them to best effect. Some of the drawbacks of market systems, of course, are that if I want things that the government might consider not to be a good thing, if I want to consume illegal drugs or consume drugs that the government considers to be bad, or drink or smoke and so on, then in a free market, there's no real government. Yeah, that's the point about a free market economy. Yeah, that there's no government intervention. So therefore, I can basically consume what I want, and maybe that's not a great thing. Likewise, there's no restrictions on the behaviour of businesses. Yeah, they might be able to make poor quality goods and pass them off. They can tell lies to me and so on. So whilst in theory it provides us with what we want in an efficient sort of way, there are drawbacks with market systems that means that in reality you might kind of quite want a government. Because, although we've said that in theory resources go to those who want them the most, in reality they're probably going to go to those who are richest. And when it then comes to health and education, you might think that that's not necessarily such a good system. So as a result, most systems in the world are what we call mixed economies. They have some element of command, some element of government control on the one hand, and some element of market control, market forces, firms, supply and demand on the other. Some countries have more government intervention, with high taxes. Some countries have less government intervention with less taxes. And that then reflects the choices of citizens. So as a society, we decide what sort of balance between governments and markets we actually want.